Hey, what's up guys? Tip and Tara here from Fit to Travel, coming to you from beautiful French Polynesia on the main island of Tahiti as we are getting ready to fly out later tonight back home.
Yes.
So today we are going to talk about this island boat tour that we did around Huahine, which is an island that we just spent 3 days on a couple days ago, and we just came back from there yesterday.
Yeah. Huahine ended up being one of our favorite islands. It's not a lot of people, so there's like 7,000 people on the island. There's not a hospital, there's not a school, any schools.
There are schools, it's just like elementary or something small, but like they have to actually go off to different islands. I don't know the name of them. Tara probably does.
Raiatea or Bora Bora, the ones closest. So like Raiatea is the closest one to Huahine. So a lot of the kids will go away to Raiatea for a couple weeks at a time and then come back for a week and then same thing. So it's a very small island. It's one of our favorites only because it's a lot of locals. We didn't meet hardly any Americans when we were there, besides Izzy's at Izzy's restaurant. But it's just a very beautiful island. You can
really laid back.
Yeah, rent a motorbike or take a bike around and just all that kind of stuff. So we loved it. But today we're going to talk about our lagoon tour with Huahine Nautique. I think that's how you pronounce it. Probably not, but anyways, it's a snorkeling tour like around the island. Price was about $80 a person, which we thought was very cheap for what you get because it's a full day. So the tour starts at 9:30. They picked us up at 9 o'clock and took us a little bit further south on the island. Not really that much further south, but a little bit more into the middle of the island. So Huahine is actually two islands. There's Huahine Nui, which is the big island, and then Huahine Iti, which is a small island. And they're connected by a very short little bridge,
yeah.
And you'll see that in the video.
Donc le pont il était vraiment bas. Et aujourd'hui Claude, il a appelé le pont le Golden Gate Huahinien. Ah, the big golden. The Huahine.
Golden Gate.
Big golden.
But so you can kind of get to both islands. There's like, I don't know, 7 or 8 districts. That's how like the main towns. And then the tour takes off from Fare, F-A-R-E. So that's the main district that it takes off of.
And that's one that we stayed in, so
Yeah.
it was pretty close for us. They picked us up, like Tara said, at 9. The tour started roughly about 9:30ish as we waited for everyone to get there. And the tour goes till
4.
about 4, yeah. You'll get dropped off roughly around 4, depending on, where they're dropping people off and that type of stuff. One good thing to know that we were the only English-speaking people on this actual trip. And, there were probably, 20?
I think
20
there's
people?
20.
So, so they did have this awesome guide, Jerry. Shout out to Jerry. We became friends on Facebook. He's an awesome guy. He took care of us. He was kind of the guide for the whole trip because they had the captain, the guide, then like the deck crew, the bosun guy. what was his name? I can't think of it right now.
John Claude or something.
Anyways, but Jerry was the one that's just kind of directing everything, and then he spoke a little bit of English, and then he always made sure to try his best to keep us involved and translate
yeah.
and everything, and he just did such a good job. It was insane. He played the ukulele. For us, and he was just such a good person to have to help us, because otherwise, you know, the captain basically only spoke French, and so it was hard to, you know, we don't speak French, so that was.
And it was a very informative tour. Like, they would stop at different places and like describe what exactly it is that we're seeing, and they took us by, like, there's the sacred blue-eyed eels in Huahine. That's a popular thing, so they went by there. We saw the Motu, where Obama comes and visits. Just different things that's like informative about the island. And so when the captain, Stephen, was talking to everyone else in French about what was going on and where we were on the map, Jerry was doing a great job of like letting us know and like making sure that we felt included, which was great. It was awesome.
Yeah. All right. So kind of now we want to break down what you should expect on this boat tour. And one of the main things, Tara just already touched on it a little bit, but they'll take you around, and then the captain will stop, and then he'll speak to everybody. He has, you know, the podium, and he speaks to everybody, and he gives us information on, you know, what the history of the island, and then what used to be there, what is there, why it's there, that type of stuff. So it's something that you can learn a whole lot about the actual island.
And I think it's always a good idea to do some of the like boat tours on like the earlier in the trip and when you're there. So like this was the first full day that we were in Huahine that we did it, because you get to explore like pretty much all of the island and the lagoon. And then if there's spots that you want to go back to afterwards, you know where they're at, as opposed to doing it at the end right before you leave, and then you're like, oh, I wish I would have been able to go back to that to see the blue-eyed eels or whatever. So we always like to kind of do it as early in the trip as we can, just for that reason, if there's places that we missed or wanted to go back to.
So they take you out right away, and just really quick stop in the beginning, and they'll show you why they call the island Huahine. They'll show you the sculpture of the mountains, and it's a
pregnant woman.
It's a pregnant woman. So
that's what Huahine means, is
yeah.
Pregnant woman. And there's actually mountains that you'll see. That's a woman looks like a woman laying down that is pregnant. So you can see, you know, her face and her boobs and her belly and her legs. So you go out into the water on the boat, and you can see that, and it's really cool to see, because you can actually see that, and that's obviously where the island got the name.
Yeah, and then right away they take you to a snorkeling spot. There's a little catamaran that they use as a dock out in towards the edge of the lagoon, and then you jump right in, and then you start snorkeling right away.
And there's blacktip sharks right there. So you just like hop in, and they're just swimming with the sharks.
So yeah, there's, you know, some reefs right there, and then right when we pulled up, we saw these blacktip sharks, and then we got in the water, and then you see in this video, Tara spots them. I guess they're behind me, and then she spots them, and then she starts kicking and
start running away.
And so it's. You know, if you're afraid of sharks, like we are a little bit, because we don't experience them much, you'll see them around. But yeah, the snorkeling was awesome, and in all the spots that they took us
Yeah,
to.
very clear water. There's awesome fish. There's sharks, obviously. The black-tip sharks are supposed to be harmless, but you know, it's still a little bit scary when you see one swimming directly at you. And so you could just, you know, we spent at least 30 minutes out there snorkeling, and just kind of roaming around and seeing what all was out there. And then we moved on to the next snorkeling spot.
Yeah, so then they'll take you around the island, and then there's a bunch of stops on the way. They'll explain, you know, certain things, like we said, and then they take you another snorkeling spot, which that second snorkeling spot was probably my favorite. It was a lot better than the first one, in my opinion. And it was just, there were so many fish around, and it wasn't as much, because you were right on top of the corals on the last one, but this one was like a little bit more free and open. So
yeah,
it
it's
was
a little bit
lot
deeper,
better.
and the water was is like a blue-green. It's really pretty, but so clear, and so you can see lots of fish and swimming around, and they just kind of let you get in and like hang out for, I'm sure they would tell you at some point if you were taking too long, because they're on a time schedule, but you know, they just kind of let you do your thing and swim around and see all the fish, and then we move along.
Yeah.
So there was a good couple snorkeling spots for sure on that tour.
One good tip is to make sure that you eat a good breakfast if you get hungry like we do, especially if you're snorkeling, because you don't actually get to eat till about 1 o'clock roughly. You know, you start at 9:30, and so it can get pretty tiring, and I got pretty hungry as it got to about 12:30, and they know that, but it's also like, if you can bring snacks or whatever, just try to eat a good breakfast if you can.
Yeah, they have like fruit. They give you like some fruit throughout,
Bananas
like coconuts and bananas. Yeah, I was thinking pineapple, but that was after.
Yeah.
But you know, it's not enough for us. We always like to eat. And then they also include a visit to the pearl farm, which the pearl farm is a really popular thing here. There's actually a pearl farm in the middle of the ocean, or lagoon technically. And so if you are wanting to visit the pearl farm on your own, if you're not on a tour, they'll pick you up from the island and take you out into the water, and you can kind of see all of how a pearl is found and made, obviously from oysters. And then they have this whole shop of like all this pottery and pearls and earrings and that kind of stuff that you can shop there. So we stopped there, and they did have like a explanation on how they make everything, but it was completely in French, so that one wasn't too entertaining for us because we obviously didn't know. But it was cool to see all of the things that they've made from the pearls.
Yeah. And then at about 1 o'clock, we get to my favorite part of the whole trip, was the picnic on the Motu.
Yeah, and this is the reason that I booked this, is to like go to a little Motu. And fun fact, the difference between an island and a Motu, Motu is completely flat, and an island has like mountains on it. So a lot of the islands in French Polynesia have Motus around them, and that's just because they're flat islands. So we went to this Motu and had this awesome lunch. We hung out for a couple hours. They taught us how to make their local Poisson Cru, which is like a ceviche. And then they also taught us some local dances. So you can see that in the videos here.
So marinated fish must be done. I'm doing this piece for you. Then all after is going to be French. The marinated fish is fish marinated with lime juice, add some sea salt, vegetables. Vegetables are tomatoes, onions, carrots, maybe cucumber, and coconut milk. Have to be shredded. Okay. All that mixed together comes out marinated fish in English. For the shredded coconut, I need cloth to put them in and squeeze it. You get the milk. So it's tuna. But you can prepare with any kind of fish, you know,
Yeah.
from the ocean. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to dehusk a coconut. So before dehusking, you must know that the coconut has two sides, like human being, front side and rear side. The coconut is the same story, front side and rear side. So it is better to take pieces by pieces all the way around clockwise and never the opposite way. So which is like that, never like that. Why? So it's easier for you that way.
Oh, his finger felt.
So after dehusking, you look at front, it looks like monkey face. Eye red, left, nose at the mouth. So in between the two eyes here, there's a line coming in between. I'm going to hit with that rock on the line, you know, to crack it in two equal parts.
Yeah.
To be able to shred the coconut.
Oh.
Ah!
There you go.
Alors, vous vous rappelez la boule de coco, vous avez la noix de coco, vous avez à l'intérieur la chair de la coco que vous avez dégusté pendant votre voyage et l'eau. So you've got the husk over there, nut, almond that you had tasted during your voyage, and the water. Manuia, everybody.
Hallelujah.
Elle a pas assez pour tout le monde. Hein. We'll get enough for everybody. Eh?
I saw Tom Hanks do that in the movie.
Huh?
I saw Tom Hanks do that in the movie.
You copy my way. So then you will have to go in America. You go to Costco, then you buy this little gadget. This is called coconut shredder. Screw in a piece of wood to be able to shred the coconut this way. Alors,
Okay.
râper le coco, c'est synonyme de gratter. This is how you do it. Alors, si vous râpez par la coco, vous n'allez jamais obtenir du lait. Donc, il faut absolument râper. So, if you don't do the shred it, you will never get the milk. You have to shred it. Hein? Maintenant, quand vous voulez râper la coco en essayant de récupérer tout l'amande à l'intérieur, qu'est-ce qu'il faut que vous fassiez? Pendant que vous fassiez ce mouvement-là, gratter, et en même temps vous tournez, de sorte que vous puissiez gratter tout autour et jusqu'au fond. So to grate the coconut, you have to do this move, turn the nut, you know, so that way you grate it all the way around and all the way through.
So at an angle.
Angle, huh? Yeah. So on our menu today, we do have marinated fish, then followed by salad dish with homemade dressing, then rice with saffron, then baked chicken, then bread baked by Chinese, baked by Chinese. We do have coconut bread and baguette and fruit tray. So on my island, this must be prepared by men. Huh? And ladies, they watch TV like this.
I like it.
So this is chili pepper there, served with the little hole there, with the fish, you know, spicy chili pepper, dry and mixed with vinegar. Un peu de sel, pas beaucoup à cause de la tension. Tomatoes, you can put any vegetables that you prefer the most. Onion, carrot, onions, carrots. Le buffet est dressé là-bas. Et puis le poisson cru va arriver au buffet. Et nous vous souhaitons un très bon appétit. Ça se dit Tamaa Maïta.
Woo! Yeah!
Et tout ça, c'était juste l'échauffement. Donc, avec tout ce qu'on vient de faire, on va faire ça avec notre ami Jimmy pour la musique. On est parti. Et on va balancer. Et là, on va mettre partir à droite.
Oh.
Ah bah peut-être c'est rare, tu m'as dit non. En fait, avoir la rythmique, c'est pas si dur, mais de faire la rythmique plus se déplacer, c'est impossible.
Et là, hey, moi j'apprends.
Woo!
Et mon gentil Marie. Thank you.
Oh!
On est d'accord. Allez les hommes.
Oh!
Mon ami, je vais faire l'impasse sur le coup. Donc, mesdames, je vais vous dire de ne pas oublier de filmer ça.
Oui, c'est un grand moment.
Un grand moment inoubliable. On va se tourner à droite. À droite, c'est là-bas, merci.
Just, yeah, it's the opposite.
Donc, pour nous, les amis, c'est simple. On va prendre une pastèque et on va tirer. Encore une deuxième fois. Il faut tirer fort. Hein. Et une troisième fois, on prend. Voilà. On fait l'autre côté maintenant, du côté gauche. Pareil, 3 fois, on prend un. On prend. Et on tire la dernière. Il faut crier fort. Hein. C'est comme si c'est la première fois. Que vous faites la danse. Et vous terminez, c'est vers l'avant, 2 fois. Voilà. Un menton. Et pour pas t'attendre. Doucement. Encore.
So as you can see in the videos, they keep you really entertained. You know, and the cool thing too is like this tour, this company, they have a bunch of other boats that are out too, and then we all meet in the middle. So like we met, I think it was 1 or 2 other boats that were there, and they came to the Motu, the picnic area, and then there were the other guides there too, and then they you know, they help cook, they help serve, they help with the open bar, which was awesome. And this is the part where, you know, they bring out the drinks, and then and it flows. They They make sure, you know, it's not like stingy or anything. They're pouring rum punch as much as you want,
Beers.
as much Hanano beers as you want, and then you just sit there and you're there for about 2 hours. So it's a cool experience, and they make it really, really fun. And then you can swim too. There's just right there. I mean, you're on the edge of the Motu, and so you just get to sit there and swim and just have fun for about 2 hours.
Yeah, and it was nice because even though there was 2 other boats there, it was kind of staggered. So there was one that had been there for what I'm assuming was a long time before we got there, and then one that got there kind of right before us, and then we stayed a little bit longer than both of those other boats. So you kind of got your own time there, while like it wasn't just like, I don't know how many, 60 people at once. It was like you kind of did your own thing, and then you ate all together, and then everyone kind of went into their separate ways. And that's when we learned, when it was just our boat, like they taught us the traditional dances. They did just the female and then just the male, and then they did the traditional like sarong, how to wear a sarong and how to dress, how to like wrap it different ways for males and females. And so it was really cool just to like hang out and like be like kind of a local.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the best part of it. 'Cause, you know, a lot of tours can take you out snorkeling and whatnot, but like this was a cool experience. It felt like you really got immersed into the culture. You got to learn a lot about the culture, and you got to learn a lot about these guides that were, you know, you spent 6-7 hours with. So it was, I think that kind of brought the level of the tour up.
Yeah.
Was where we just got to really experience, because they sat there, the captains and Jerry sat there with their ukuleles and
Played for
music. Yeah.
an hour probably.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just one of the coolest things, and you just get to sit there and just kind of forget about where you're at and just enjoy the beauty.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the food was very good.
Delicious.
Probably the
Oh my
best we
gosh.
had the whole trip. We had the Poisson Cru, which is fresh tuna, and then they had baked chicken. They had salad. They had rice. They had fruit.
yeah, everything
I
was
think
so
that
fresh.
was it,
and
but it
just-
was so good. And they were like, you know, eat as much as you want.
Yeah,
you know.
I basically had 2 servings.
I mean, it was so good. So it was definitely like a highlight of the day. The snorkeling was awesome. We had a little iffy weather. Had a
Here
little
and
bit
there,
of rain
yeah.
off and on. It was nothing like the whale adventure.
Yeah.
But it would have been nicer had we had clear sunny day. But everything was great, and the tour was awesome. I highly recommend the tour.
And then at that point, when we were done, it was roughly about 3:15, 3:20, and then we started heading back towards where we were getting, where we got picked up, right? So the tour was kind of getting over, but like on the journey back, it's about probably half hour, somewhere around there. But on the journey back, they're still stopping and you know, giving you more information on certain sites and that
Showing
type of
you
stuff.
places,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you still get to drink on that part of that. So it's but most people are super tired at that point and just kind of want to get back.
Yeah, well, and Jerry was playing his ukulele. He was playing some Bob Marley for us and playing some different songs, which was really cool. It was just a really nice, like, into the tour. It wasn't just like you head back and like, see you later, that's it.
Yeah.
It was just a good ending to the tour.
Yeah. And basically it was an awesome tour. We loved it, but I really think the best part of it was the actual crew, right? The crew really made it just like made you feel like you're at home. And then they were so proud to show off their culture to us. And then that's what really separated it from some other tours that we've done on different islands and, you know, different countries and that type of stuff. This one really felt like they were like so proud to show us their culture.
Yeah. Well, and they were, you know, telling jokes and making fun of different little things, and
Yeah,
you know,
a lot of laughs.
like being like comedic throughout, which was good. Sometimes when you have like a lot of the, you know, history and things to see, it can get a little bit, even though it's still cool to see, it can get a little bit like dry, you know. So it was fun for them to like throw some jokes in there and that kind of stuff, which again, like Tip said, it really made the trip like or the tour that much more entertaining, you know?
Yeah, and like he was one of the head guys, I guess, but he was the guy that put together the raw fish dish, and like watching him husk that coconut was one of the coolest things that you can see, and then just showing his secrets on how he makes that. And it was just one of the coolest things, because it's like, I want to try it now when I go home. Probably not the husking of the coconut part,
Yeah,
but
can't get one from the tree either.
Exactly, but he gave his recipe away, which he's like, and he told me as we were sitting there recording, he was like, yeah, go ahead, put this on Facebook. We want people to know about this.
Yeah.
And it was so delicious. It was basically just tuna ceviche, which was just amazing.
It was so fresh. It was so good.
Yeah. We felt like we were a part of their family. So it's one of the coolest things about this trip.
Yeah.
So.
And this company, they also have a couple other like tours that you can do. I know when I was looking online that they have a couple that are for cruise passengers in particular, because obviously you're a little bit limited on time. This one in particular was called the Motu 3-in-1 Picnic. So it's the snorkeling, the pearl farm, and the picnic all together. So there's a couple different options. You can just go to their website and check it out. We'll add that link down below in the description. But like I said, we highly recommend them. The crew definitely made it worthwhile, and it was actually funny because we were on the beach the next day as they were driving by, and Jerry was out there yelling at us and like recognized us.
Yeah, he recognized us from the boat, and then.
So it was really cool because like we saw him the next day, and you know they were still having a good old time. You could tell just at the end of the tour. So, you know,
it was worth the price of admission. It was only $80 a person, and I mean, just for the food and the drinks alone was worth that.
Yeah.
So there's just no.
I mean, you can't beat that price. Like,
we normally pay $150 to $200 for something along these lines.
yeah.
So, but if you made it this far, you like our video, you like our stuff, subscribe. We do have more to come from the French Polynesia. Also, go check out our whale watching video.
Yeah, we'll put that whale watching video right here. That one was
And-
an awesome experience. You can't miss that when you come to French Polynesia.
And our 10 things to know before you come to French Polynesia.
Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.
Peace.